right, we are live and on time this episode because the guy working behind the thing knows what's up, and we all had ourselves.
I feel like that was a shot. Do I take that as an insult?
Hey,
how do I take
that
that?
was a shot, and you was well deserved. Well deserved after your Penguins comment before we came on here. But we're not going to focus on the Penguins. We're not going to dwell on how the Leafs made history, even though I am going to bring that up a little bit later, just because I think it's funny.
Please do.
But boys, how we do it, Chad? I know that you're over here. I appreciate you filling in for the morning brew. People are like, "Weren't you out of town? How was Chad at your house?" I'm like, "Well, don't act stupid. The guy has a key to my house and knows my alarm codes. Like, we know each other like that. It's all good."
Yeah, man, it was a busy weekend. Obviously, had to step it up a little bit, but I appreciate the beer you left in the fridge for me, even if you didn't mean to.
Hey, that's what I always do. I always make sure we're taken care of. There's always lots of beer here. There's lots of nutritious gummy snacks in the fridge. Kalen, how was your weekend? How'd it go?
I didn't have any gummy snacks. I would have made for a better weekend for sure. But I got into some rye this weekend, so I had some fun on Saturday evening. There's lots of Game 7s to watch, right? So lots of fun sports. My Celtics take down a Game 7 too, so it was a good weekend all around for me. I had a lot of fun and good weather too. So all in all, good time.
Yeah, and I mean, I got to head out to lovely St. Catharines and see some people I haven't seen in a little while. There may have been a beer or two drank. There may have been some good time. Actually, someone just popped on that was at the wedding. She knows how much fun we had. So wild weekend. As you could tell, not drinking beer today. I'm trying to recover still. 2 days later, but this bangerang goes down nice and smooth. And what better day to drink bangerang? You're kind of hungover still from 2 days ago. The Jays decided to open the dome today for the first time. It's a bright, sunny day out. We got a great guest today. Absolutely. I mean, I'm looking forward to talking. We've never actually talked to this guy, but I'm looking forward to talking to him.
I talked to him today.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, we had added to be tech guy chat after what happened last week. So, and it just.
Oh, I got it. Oh, I heard it.
No, just making sure. No, we tested it out, and we made sure that our communication worked and that on his end that his worked, because unfortunately last we did have a whole bunch of difficulties across the board everywhere. It wasn't just Kalen, so.
Yeah, and
hey,
go ahead.
In your defense, Kalen, if it wasn't for you though, we wouldn't have been on air. So, there's no way in hell me and Shane we're gonna make that thing work. So better late than never.
I'm glad that it came through.
Yeah, it all worked out. We're gonna make fun of you for at least the next 6 weeks, probably, until we need you to save our ass again when Liam goes on holidays again. So, and beginning of August.
Yeah, so it kind of sounds like the beginning of August we're not going to be having a show. So that's I mean, it's good to know planning that far ahead. But
we got a little one coming in to say goodnight to me here. It looks like good night, little lady.
There you go.
But I want to before we go too far, I want to come back to your mention about the Jays opening up the dome. Say goodnight, everybody. We mentioned about the Jays opening up the dome. I know you don't talk a lot about baseball in May because it's May baseball, and you say you don't talk about it until it's like July, August kind of thing. Yep. But it's kind of sad right now, Shane, that the highlight of a Jays fan talk right now is going to be about the dome opening up. What the hell's going on over there? Well, I know that you got to take that shot lightly because we're still 2 spots below you guys in the standings.
Yeah, when it really comes down to it, yeah, you're right. We don't talk a lot about baseball. I love to talk about baseball. But baseball in its lowest common denominator in form comes down to this. You're going to win 60 games. You're going to lose 60 games. It really matters what the other 42 happen. That's the difference of being a playoff team and being the team picking first overall in the draft that no one pays attention to because no one can understand it. Right?
Now, if you had made that just a smidgen shorter, we could have put that on the wall behind you, just like that GF2 sign. Would have been one of those shitting quotes.
Yeah, hey,
I'm sure we get 42.
Yeah, yeah, and that's really what it comes down to. And like, you could break it down, like, pick a team, any team that's been significant over the last 25, 30 years. They've lost at least 60 games, right?
Yeah,
and even the shit teams like the Pirates last year, I'm sure that they won 60 games. My guess.
I don't even know, to be honest with you.
I
don't follow the Pirates because, as you mentioned, they are shit.
Yeah,
is rough.
They just beat the Reds though, in just a burner of a game.
Yeah.
Oh,
just an offensive.
Cincinnati just knows how to
thrashing.
lose, eh? Oh my god.
Hey, Cincinnati Reds are doing a lot of things, making history. The Toronto Maple Leafs made some history, and I don't even know if you guys heard this because I kind of read it and I had to reread it because I was like, that doesn't sound right. But the first professional sports franchise to lose 5 consecutive deciding games. So they have lost 5 consecutive, either game 5 or game 7s. Isn't that doesn't that stagger you a little bit?
It's 5 straight game 7s they've lost, right? Straight up.
Any
5
game
straight.
that
Well,
is-
I think
it's-
I thought the one against
series
Columbus was a
clinching.
5. Yeah, series
Yeah,
clinching. That's what it
clinching.
is. I think the Columbus one was 5 in the bubble.
Man, I got
Okay.
hated on Saturday, and I love my life.
yeah,
Like I sent Shane this message. I was gonna have like this nice thing to say. These are the 2 things we're talking about this weekend. And then Saturday, I woke up and I was like, "Fuck this! Let's just piss off the world today." And that's what I did here in Ontario. I made fun of every Leafs fan possible, and the Leafs didn't disappoint me, and they made me look like a genius.
and look, I can't take credit for this because I heard it on the radio and I might have mentioned it on here before, but they say that the Ontario is the only place that the Leafs fall in May. So I think that's clever. I think that's fun. But we are more of a football show. And luckily for us, the NFL continues to give us storylines, continues to feed us. I was reading this Drew Brees thing. I want to know how you guys feel about this because I have an opinion on it. But Chad, this is your division. Drew Brees is kind of teasing that he's thinking about coming back. He's leaving NBC, or at least potentially leaving NBC, only 1 year into the gig. What is this guy thinking?
Well, he finally has some receivers that can play football. You're getting Michael Thomas back. Jarvis Landry's coming there. The defense never has been bad. And they weren't that bad of a team with Jameis there. And now you're telling me you have Drew Brees coming back? Well, that changed the whole dynamic of the division. I think they could beat Tampa, maybe in the regular season. But like, if he has any itch of coming back, he has to make that choice now. But like, what are you coming back for? Here's the
Right. What he can't. Yeah, I mean, he can't make the throw to Olave. Olave's going to run a lot of 9 routes. He can't make that throw anymore. He doesn't have the arm. So I think that the Saints would let him walk. I think that they would let him play elsewhere. I don't know where elsewhere is. Maybe Carolina, but
Carolina.
yeah, I think
Absolutely
you'd rather play
desperate at
against
this
him twice a year than have him as your quarterback for the next 17.
But like, you got Mr. Slam, as everybody calls Thomas. Jarvis Landry does not stretch the field. So literally, like, you're setting an offense that's already built around him. 2 guys that are great route runners with great hands, and that can play physical. So yeah, like, is there a chance he comes back? Yeah, I don't see for the price tag he's probably gonna put on it. There's no way the Saints can pay him that though.
Now, do you think that it's possible that he's just like trying to leverage NBC against the Tom Brady alleged deal for Fox?
100%.
Yeah, because
He's like,
that's the
"Oh,
way that
man,
it felt to me.
Everybody's getting paid except for Drew Brees now. Like Troy Aikman just got a bag. The guys on Amazon got 2 bags, and then Tom Brady got paid.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, according to the New York Post story, guys, I mean, this guy was pushed out. It wasn't a choice to leave NBC. He certainly liked the booth idea, and they lost most of their booth deals. Yeah, and he flopped. The idea was this guy was going to take over the booth and be like the man on the play-by-play next. And I don't. Maybe I'm the only one. You guys maybe sound like you kind of enjoy him the way you're talking about him getting paid. I thought he was shit. If you want to talk about him and Booger being side by side and who's better, I don't know.
Makes everybody mad.
Honestly. Yeah, I don't know. I just don't know in the situation. Now, Drew dropped some knowledge of the game, and he bring that to the table. He certainly did, but the energy that he brought didn't make me want to listen to him. He was pretty boring to me, in my opinion, and he almost even seemed half the time. It seemed like he was faking his enthusiasm or faking his excitement about something that he was forced to talk about because it was the segment. So yeah, what I was reading the New York Post is that he was more forced out rather than being his request to leave, and this might be his spin on it. This might be his spin. Maybe I'll work at NBC. Maybe I'll make it look like it's me leaving on my own note, kind of thing. And they're allowing him to do that. Maybe that was him going on his own, allowing him to go on his own note.
Right, and I thought that he was awkward in the Notre Dame games, and Chad could probably speak to that a little bit better because I mean Chad watches far more Notre Dame football than I do. But it seemed really forced, and to have a Purdue guy call all the Notre Dame games seemed weird to me. But I mean, I guess I don't know. I guess Doug Flutie did it for a long time there, and there's much
then
better options, but there's not
he
many
did the
big
play-by-play. I
names
think it
like
was
that.
I think he did the play-by-play in the Raiders and Bengals game. I don't know if you guys listened to that one. It was absolutely horrible. And that's at the professional level where you're not talking about in the college level with kids you've not played with. You're talking about a majority of men that you know that you've been on the field with the majority of these guys. You know their names, you know their ins and outs. I know it was a different conference because you're talking to the AFC, but he still sounded absolutely lost up there.
Well,
I know
that's
it's
the
his
thing,
first time, maybe freaking jitters in the big leagues, but I don't know if you can recover from that.
Well, a lot of it is like a lot of these guys go to TV as on their way out of their career, so they get those like practice sessions in. Well, it's all those guys who get to that, the guys that don't make the playoffs.
Chad, did you get a haircut?
What's that?
Did you get a haircut? Kelly thinks you got a haircut.
Oh, I'm wearing a hat.
That could happen.
I looks like it. But yeah, no. Like he didn't get he went far in the playoffs every year. So yeah, he didn't get all those exhibition games like guys like Greg Olsen who played for the Panthers who did nothing, and the Bears. They'd be out in the first round if they even went to the playoffs.
Right. And as much as the Jarvis Landry like signing to the Saints, definitely I see why you're saying that fits the offense if you wanted to go play in New Orleans. Jameis, the way that they're going to pay him and the way that they need to look at their future, he's got to be the guy. That it's not like they address the position anywhere else. Yeah, I mean he's got to be your guy, and you got to at least put a little bit of stock behind him. You got a brand new head coach there. I really, really don't think that you want to attach a 42-year-old guy with his best arm strength behind him.
Well, even that coach said that he thought that Drew Brees was talking in jest. Dennis Allen.
He was hoping. I think that's what he meant. I think he was hoping.
I agree. Now that being, let's go to the Jarvis signing, guys. I know that you're not a huge fan of Jarvis, Shane. He's a Brown. He hasn't done a whole lot in the last couple of years there. I still think he's got a lot of juice left, or a little bit of juice left to provide at his age. What do you think of the deal, though, guys?
I'll
1
clarify.
year, like $3 million?
Yeah, so I'll clarify, and that's exactly the kind of deal that I thought he would get. When he was out there shopping $20 million deals, I was like, this guy's nuts. He doesn't get it. 1 year, $3 million. Yeah, I mean, any team would be crazy to not do it at that point. And I don't know if Jarvis is actually from like Louisiana and like from that area. Yeah, I know he went to LSU. Yeah, exactly. So he went home to try and play on probably the team that he cheered for growing up. And I mean, I don't know if he has any kind of connection with Jameis Winston at all, but I know that he has the connection with the Honey Badger. Obviously, that has something to do with it. Why not go play your final year or years in a place that you're familiar? And I'm sure your family lives there, and you can just kind of enjoy it and ride it out.
Do you know the bonus structure he got with that, Caleb?
Yeah, it was another $3 million incentive base, but like it's really easily attainable. So he's going to get 1 year, $6 million is what it's going to be.
Yeah. Well, what about another former AFC North receiver? And we might get cut off doing this, but we might even get Quincy's opinion on this. Do you guys think that Antonio Brown's actually coming back to the Steelers?
For 1 day? Not a chance.
So
there's no way
I mean,
you guys give him that.
All I'm
the way
saying
he treated you on the way out the door, man.
I believe that he legitimately thinks he's going to play for the Steelers next year. Like I'm not talking about a 1 day or a 2 day contract here. I think this guy thinks he's coming to Latrobe for training camp.
Like he thinks that. No one else does, right?
Yeah, he thinks a lot of things. I think he might think the Earth is flat, like Kyrie. So he can think a lot of things.
Damn.
No,
yeah,
they are flat earthers. I know that Kyrie is, but I'm pretty sure Antonio Brown is one of those guys too. So I don't know. Coming back to Pittsburgh after the way he treated you guys on the way out the door, after how he's done every single team, why would the Steelers, this organization that is like the bee's knees when it comes to like respectfulness right in the league, right? Why would they take this guy back on and run the risk of being embarrassed potentially again? You got what you needed to get out of Antonio. He provided some great years to you. You were able to get some draft compensation by getting rid of that headache. Don't take it on now, man. Not when you got a rookie QB there. And I mean, you got some impressionable QBs. I know Mitch is still, he's been in the league a few years, but he's still certainly impressionable at this point.
Yeah, and he's the week 1 starter until you hear otherwise. All right, maybe are we ready to bring in Quincy, and then maybe we can pick up this debate a little bit later?
There's no debate here. Like that guy's not getting signed.
All right. So as Liam's queuing us up here, or not Liam, the person that's behind the mask. I mean, Quincy Vaughn from Hamilton, Ontario. now is, I mean, we're expecting him to be the starting quarterback
He's
for
competing
this.
for the starting job, is what I was told today.
Anybody that comes on this show becomes a starter. I mean, ask Aiden, ask Lane. Like this is the springboard for what happens. So yeah, we're gonna have him. We're pretty excited to talk to him, see how spring practice went, see how the team's looking. I think we're just waiting for him.
Just
But
gotta wait.
yeah. Yeah, no problem. So yeah, I mean, as far as would the Steelers organization offer him a 1-day contract for Antonio Brown? It's gonna surprise you guys, but Mike Tomlin would do it for sure. Heartbeat, not even think twice about it. Mike Tomlin has like a big admiration and cares a lot about Antonio Brown, and clearly, I think we can all like say unequivocally that there was something that this guy was dealing far bigger than football off the field. The Steelers organization, you're right, they are all class. They paid Ryan Shazier after he got hurt for the rest of his entire contract, made sure that his family was set up, gave him like an opportunity to come in and be a coach, and he's still involved in the organization. So they made sure that he's one of theirs, he's taken care of. This guy wants to come back, humble himself. Um, does he ever suit up for the Steelers again? No, never. They have too many.
Where would we even fit in? We already talked about.
I let him walk out of the field and just like, oh, by the way, you can take that off now and go home.
Yeah.
There's your 1-day
In front of
contract, you
everybody.
loser.
They might not even let him in the building. They might just ship him a hat and he can do his retirement press conference from home.
Just let him one of these bad boys.
Yeah.
Put this up
Yeah,
in your garage.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. I mean, would I support it if he comes back and doesn't act like he did in Tampa?
Well, he was great in Tampa till week 14.
Yeah, and then he got the Ricky Bobby fever. He thought he was on fire, ripped all of his clothes off, threw him in the stands, and moved on with his day. But okay. So we do have Quincy coming in here in a sec, and we will continue that conversation.
Y'all saw that Devontae Adams got offered more money, eh?
With the Packers?
By Green Bay.
Yeah.
Yeah, they offered him more money over the first 2 years, and he still said, nope, going to Vegas. What a kick in the shins that is.
No one ever gets in trouble in Vegas.
Yeah. Yeah, very responsible team owners down there. I don't know. I'm curious to see how that's going to go. And you know, we're not really gonna. I think we were gonna talk a little bit about the NFL schedule on the other page, but how cool is it that on the I believe it's the 40th anniversary of the Immaculate Reception to the day, the Steelers and the Raiders are going to play, and it's Christmas Eve.
Yeah, they're 100% doing that on purpose. The second they find out your schedule's lined up, they were doing that.
Yeah, well, and I think it's awesome. You know what? Christmas Eve, 8:15 p.m. Gives me a perfect excuse to kick the family out.
Yeah, I got the late Christmas Day game.
Here he is, the man that we were talking about before, Quincy Vaughn. We appreciate you taking the time to talk to us. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. Look, we appreciate you taking the time. And we are actually based out of London, so we were about an hour from where you started your football journey, which looks like it was McNabb High School.
Yeah. So I started there. Both my older brothers went there, so I was kind of the last one in the lineage to go through McNabb and everything like that. So
nice. And so how does a guy go from McNabb High School to the North Prep, and then how does that guy end up at North Dakota? Like, walk us through the process.
Yeah. I mean, so obviously I started off at McNabb. So I played my 9th, 10th, and 11th year at McNabb. And then I got recruited to go to Football North, which is based out of Mississauga. So then I played there my 12th and post-grad year. And obviously that one, it was a little different for me because I had to make a commute every morning because school started at 8 a.m. So every morning at like 6:30, I'd wake up. Well, the train left at 6:30, so I'd go down to the Hamilton Go Center, take a train to school, 45 minutes, then take a bus to Clarkson. And I mean, I was there for 2 years, so it was a pretty grindy thing. And then I was fortunate enough to get recruited by a couple of schools, but ultimately I ended up choosing the University of North Dakota with the football staff and just the football out there and the FCS football talent that's around that area is very impressive. So,
and I mean, the FCS is making its impact in the NFL now too. So it almost doesn't matter where you go anymore, right? As long as you go somewhere where you're comfortable and you can play.
oh yeah, for sure, it's definitely taken off now. My eldest brother Justin Vaughn, he ended up playing at Fordham, which is in the Bronx, New York. So he played FCS. He went to the CFL, and now you're seeing more and more FCS guys go to the NFL, the CFL, and everything. It's just more taken off. It's drifted. It's starting to drift more away from you have to go Power 5 to go to the NFL. You have to do this to go to the NFL. It's starting to trickle down, and I've been fortunate to play. One of my left tackles last year just got drafted to the Cowboys,
Oh,
and
wow.
tons of guys in our conference are getting drafted to the NFL. Northern Iowa, Trevor Penning, and other guys such as that go to different schools just throughout the Missouri Valley. So it's pretty impressive.
Yeah. And I mean, the South Dakota State quarterback ended up in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, Oladokin, yeah. We played
Yeah.
him our last game of the year, so that's glad for him. Glad to see guys like that getting out there and getting an opportunity to make it in the league.
And he looks good too. I mean, he looks like he's a good athlete. He's got a good arm. It looks like he make all the plays. And I mean, as you can tell, I'm a Steelers fan, so we don't
He's a little
anticipate.
biased.
Yeah, we don't
Oh, yeah.
anticipate that the 7th round pick is going to start over Pickett, but we pulled a little bit of the numbers that you had last year at North Dakota. But the burning question, and the question that I can't sit down. I have a big mouth. I have to talk. Are you the starter? You're going to be the starter, right?
That's the plan.
Yeah,
That's the plan. I got to. Right now, I'm
Yeah.
currently number 2, so I mean, I got to go in this summer. Unfortunately, this past spring, I had a surgery that kept me out all throughout the spring, so I lost a lot of reps to the starters and other quarterbacks in the room. But it's a good environment in that room, and that where we have the university. I mean, we're all really good friends, but we all understand that we all want the same job. So I mean, keeping that competitive nature, and it's really important for me to go in this summer and be the best person I can be and go get a job and compete and perform to the fullest I know I'm capable of.
Well, the last 2 college guys are now starting, so the trend's going to go. It's going to be you next.
Yeah. Hopefully we can follow suit there.
Yeah, we had a kid on from Clemson, and now he's a starter. We had a kid on from Jackson State. Now he's a starter. Now they're competing on a different position. They're both punters, but I think your team would hope that you would get the ball more than those guys get the ball. Because if those guys' teams, they're getting the ball too much, it means that they're not scoring.
Yeah, that would be a little bit of a problem if the punter was touching the ball as much as the quarterback. But yeah.
So 6'4", 245. I don't know if that's accurate or not. We pulled that off Wikipedia. It's never been wrong before. But it looks like you got a little bit of wiggle too, right?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, definitely coming out of high school, I was more of like a pocket passer. And then once I got to the University of North Dakota, my offensive coordinator was kind of, making me like see myself from an outsider's perspective of me being 6'4", 240. Like, no one wants to tackle you. Why don't you use your legs more and, just doing a little, head nod and everything like that. I mean, I'm more of a powerful guy, so I'm more likely to run straight through you, but I can give some guys a little wiggle here and there. So
That's like
you take Michael Vick in a race.
no shot, not even
Just
close.
wanted to put it out there quick.
Yeah.
6'4", 240, man. I'm a Titans fan. That's Derrick Henry type numbers, man. That's a scary guy. Nobody wants to go with that. You got the big thighs too? Are you one of those guys that nobody wants to tackle you low either because they're gonna get hurt going low too?
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, I sure as heck don't run a 4.5 at my weight, but I sure as hell carry the same characteristics. Just big body, so hard to bring down.
Yeah, big body, big arm. I mean, that sounds like everything you want in a starting quarterback. So, if we get a vote, you know where our vote is going to land.
Hopefully, that will be good.
Yeah. So you didn't get a chance to participate in the spring, but you still went to the spring game?
Yeah, so I was there. Sorry, I was there every day. Our practices started at, the quarterbacks were always on the field at like 6:45, 7 a.m. So I did everything that I would normally do. I'd go down there. We'd chat up with the guys for about 5 minutes. I'd go out there. I'd catch if they needed to. I just couldn't throw. I'd do that the whole spring. So I mean, it kind of sucked, going through all the motions that everyone else is, watching the same film, same meetings, and then being in the film room and watching film and you're not up there. And But it was good to I had the chance to teach some of the younger guys, two younger guys, and they were asking me tons of questions. And but I kept bugging them because my last spring ball opportunity was 2020 when I first enrolled, but then COVID hit. So I was joking with them that they completed their first spring ball before I did. So I mean, it was kind of a pain in my ass, but
Yeah.
uh,
Well, you just roll with the
So
punches, control what you can control, right?
for sure, for sure.
So my level of football was like high school level, and our area, we didn't pass the ball too much, and I had a hard time remembering, the plays all the time. I, I always had to ask a quarterback now. You're a guy who's got probably umpteen amount of plays in your head at any given time. How do you cram all that in there? Like, what do you use? What are the techniques that you use in order to remember your plays and everything?
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, definitely jumping from McNabb to Football North was a lot, and then from Football North to North Dakota was crazy. I mean, our coach does a good job of keeping things simple. The first thing you got to learn is all the formations. So he kept making formations with. So we have a formation called Tom, which is a tight end attached, and then the next 3-by-1 would be Tommy. So the tight end's just not attached from the ball. So he'd make little things easy like that to remember. And then as far as the plays go, it's a slow install. So once we get back here in June, we're going to be meeting and everything like that and installing all our base plays. So we'll go through 5 or 10 base runs, 5 or 10 base passes that we stick throughout the year, and then we go into games and game prep, which gets close to a season, and we'll install based on film 5 to 10 more, 5 to 10 more, 5 to 10 more. So sometimes, we always have our base plays and our base knowledge of everything, and then as the season goes on, you always install more. But fortunately for us as quarterbacks, we got like wristbands, so we don't gotta like listen to the call, run it in, and do all that stuff. But it's a difficult process. It takes a lot of studying, but our coaches do a good job to make sure we're always prepared heading into game week.
Yeah,
Well,
Caleb,
and
times have changed since you and I played, right? The receiver runs in to tell your quarterback to play. That's not a thing
Oh,
Yeah,
anymore.
that's right. That was how it worked. Yeah.
Most
Oh
of
no.
the greatest invention ever was the flip of the wristband. So now you have four sheets of paper, not just two, and you
Oh
just
yeah, that
control the
was
number.
crazy.
And that was a game changer for me, anyways.
Yeah, I mean, when I played youth football, that's what it was. Someone ran and said, "Go do this play," and they're like, "Okay, ready, break." But now there's a whole bunch of signals that the coaches are doing, and find the number, read it out, and sometimes they flip it, and you gotta think in your head all this stuff. But
Yeah, man. Like
our
sometimes
our
some
coaches do a
baseball
good
signals
job.
going down on the sidelines. It's crazy. Pictures, and you're trying to figure out which one to go to. And then again, like I had a hard time. Our playbooks were easy. It was like 6, 7, 9 fly kind of thing, right? Like the numbers are there. They told you what to do. But you guys, you got like you said, Tom E, and you got so many different variations. The kudos to you guys, man. That's crazy stuff.
Oh yeah,
well,
for sure.
Caleb, let me explain to you because again, Wikipedia doesn't lie. Uh, my man's on the honor roll, so he knows how to study. He knows how to get it all going here. That's something like we could never have. I mean, I was never even invited to the honor roll dinner, let alone being on it.
You weren't even
Yeah.
someone's date to the honor roll dinner.
Yeah, I was actually declined because of it.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, our coach does a good job of emphasizing like academics. This year it was a rough year for me. I ended up pulling back and getting back to that 3-0 mark. But yeah, just our coach does a really good job at making sure all the guys are in the right position to succeed in the classroom. He always says if you succeed in the classroom, everything on the field will take care of itself. So I mean, as far as this spring with me dealing with two surgery, I fell behind. I think it was like a month of school, so it was tough. I was battling back the rest of the semester. Um, but yeah, recently in the fall, we had our highest cumulative GPA in team history. I think it was a 3.2. So that's pretty impressive for 107 guys all together. So
Yeah,
that's good.
Okay.
coach doing work, man. He is installing the right things, right?
Oh yeah, for sure.
That's awesome.
Now, do you ever head back Hamilton way?
Yeah, I'm currently in Hamilton right now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I get to come back twice a year. But the last year when we played in the spring, it was a little bit of an odd transition. So we had started, our first game was in February and we finished in late March, I think. So school ends in May. So I ended up finishing school May 15th and we had to be back June 1st. So I was fortunate enough to go stay with one of my friends named Matt Let's-Go, the guy that got drafted to the Cowboys. So I was able to stay with him last summer. So I went home the following Christmas, and then now I'm back this summer. So, and I'll head back again to Christmas. So I go back 2 times a year. So I'm fortunate for it,
You
and
got plenty.
but Sorry,
got
what'd you say?
plans to stay with him again this summer? Go and
No,
check out the Cowboys facilities.
oh, I mean that would be pretty cool. Go kick it with Jerry Jones and the whole squad, but I know he's got
I
a
don't know
job
if
to
you
do.
kick with Jerry Jones. That guy does not seem like he plays a straight game.
Oh yeah, that would
You
be.
might break some NCAA rules hanging with that guy.
Oh, there would be a lot of rules broken. I gotta stay away from that.
So we mentioned the Cowboys, one of the most popular teams in the world. We got the Steelers. We talked about them, another popular team. And you don't have to mention it. Maybe you don't want to be worried about this biting you in a few years from time if you get drafted. But who do you cheer for on any given Sunday?
Gosh, well, I'm more of a guy that just enjoys watching any game, any given time. But I mean, once I was in the States and how serious everyone took the NFL game, I had to go with the Bills. I like Josh Allen. He's dynamic. He's great big arm. So I got a big arm. So I was just sticking with him. I mean, I'm probably not quite as athletic as he is, but I like to think of myself as I am. So that's a good person I could look up to and, mind my game after. So I was rooting for them. And that Kansas City loss kind of hurt because I was really into it then with all my teammates, but had to just keep going. So
now it looks like you might have
I'll
a
be
hater
thinking
on
about
here
your week
named named Peyton. I don't know if you know Peyton.
Who's
Trying
Peyton?
trying to troll you on here.
Oh, Peyton Lotus.
Yeah, he said you're a bum.
Oh, he was one of my old roommates last year. He's like one of my really, really good friends. I didn't think he was gonna come on here causing a ruckus, but he's a great friend and he's definitely an
Should
interesting
we just call,
character.
play ball
call
with
him
you,
third
or-
string? Is that what we just call him the rest of the show? Call him third string.
Oh, I mean, I hope not. I hope he chills out. But yeah, he plays football at the University of North Dakota too. He's a center. Like I said, he was my roommate for the past year, and his family is great, and they take care of me when I'm up there as well. So he's a really good dude. I mean, he likes to cause trouble sometimes at sea, but
yeah,
the centers are usually the smartest guys on the line, right? And you're rooming up with them, man. I get it. I get why you're just clicking now down there, brother. It's
oh
awesome.
yeah, for sure. I mean, it's good to be paired up with a guy like that, and me and him relate on and off the field as well. I mean, we're good friends, good jokes, but we also have the same understanding that once we're on the field and we got to lock in and do our job, it's a good relationship we got.
That's awesome.
Good.
So we talked earlier today and we checked in. You said that you now became a hockey fan. It's a
Oh
new thing
yeah,
for you.
yeah. I mean,
So being a guy that grew up in the GTA, did you make fun of your friends on Sunday, or did you like console them on Sunday?
oh, I was definitely making fun of them. Like I grew up with a lot of hockey guys, everything like that. I mean, it was definitely different. But now, like with my roommate Peyton, this past month, I didn't even know what offsides was. I had no idea what it was, no clue. And then, in my house we got NHL 22, and I was like, why not? Let me just play this game. Like I'm good at Madden, I'm good at other games. Let me just try it. I was trash. I was icing the puck. I was like hitting it off the glass, and then I finally learned how to do it, and I was like, man, this is kind of cool. And then obviously the NHL season was going on as well, and I was like, man, this is pretty cool. I started watching Austin Matthews and the Avalanche, Cale Makar. He's like my favorite player right now. I was like, this is ridiculous. So it's very interesting now. But
Well, Minnie had a good year,
that-
good ending. Had a good year though, Minnesota.
oh, tons of Minnesota fans where I'm from, like that Midwest area, like they go
Yeah.
crazy. But I've known about Minnesota sports for my entire time here, so I am not hopping on the bandwagon anytime soon. But a lot of guys try and get me to fold for it, but I'm not doing it.
There was something that you mentioned in there. I don't know if the guys heard it or not, but he mentioned that he was good at Madden, guys. I think we're gonna have to line up a match between me and him and see who is actually the better Madden player. What do you think?
Gosh, I mean, hey, I've kind of strayed away from it. I was really good in Madden 22 and Madden 21, but now all this next gen stuff, it's confusing me. I'm not too sure, but I'm always down for a challenge. Anytime.
Okay, I
you
thought
wanna play me.
This guy lives in the game room.
Oh.
I would have
I
challenged
thought I
this
heard
guy
the
to
fear in
game
the voice at the beginning there, and then suddenly you came around to the end saying, "Let's play." So I'm down. Let's
He
do
saw
it.
your
yeah.
black light, Caitlin. He was nervous what happens down there.
Oh, I mean, I don't got a game room myself, but I'm never running away from a challenge. So
All right, we'll make it happen. Absolutely.
Well, look, man, we appreciate you taking the time. Obviously, you're a busy guy. You got family to see. You don't see them all the time, so we're not going to take up much more of your time. But I hope that during the season and during when you get back out there, you want to pop back on here and just talk a little bit of trash, talk a little football. Definitely after you beat Kalen and Madden, we're definitely gonna have to see your face on the screen again.
oh yeah, for sure. I appreciate you guys for having me and chatting up, and I'm definitely gonna have to be back on here sometime and chat it up with all the guys. So it'll be good.
Yeah, man. We appreciate you, and thanks again.
Likewise. See you,
luck.
fellas. See ya.
That's again, like we're 100%.
Killing it with guests, Shane.
Yeah,
Keep
we are
doing it,
100%.
man.
I'm telling you, we are 100% with guests. We have not had a bad one yet. And like,
Could you imagine the day the guy's like, I will never come back on your show?
We'll know. We'll know. Like, they won't make it. They won't make it to the end. Like, at some point, someone will just like click, like, yeah, I'm done. Like, this is it.
Yeah.
I'm not talking to these assholes.
I had one of
anymore.
those days before.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Like, you know what? I'm just done today.
Yeah, but that was when you got dummied by the gummy.
I
all right.
saw voices that day. I didn't hear them.
Yeah. I think we kind of had our chance to talk about that Antonio Brown thing, and we're gonna circle back to something that we talked about a little bit with Drew Brees. It got mentioned, but Tom Brady getting $375 million to go to Fox. What is up with that?
More than
How does that
ever as a
happen?
QB, right?
No, how does that happen? That's absurd. That's almost $40 million to call sports.
Well, I mean, he's marketing
one day
himself
maybe
pretty
we
well.
can quit our jobs because we can make that kind of money.
We're not as handsome as he is.
Okay, well now let's
You know.
2 years ago. He's been in Tampa 2 years now, right?
This is
So
his.
this will be his third.
yeah,
This is his third year coming up.
Yeah.
So 2 years ago or 3 years ago, when he was in New England and all the years prior to that, do you think this offer would have ever been on the table for him?
not a chance.
No.
Yeah, I think that he saw a bit of a light at the end of the tunnel when he got to Tampa, got to hang around some of the the popular people down there, and he understood and seeing what Tony Romo was getting paid. He marketed himself a lot differently in the last 2 years. We've talked about this a lot. Tampa Tom is not New England Tom. This guy is getting drunk on the boat. He's doing TikToks, making fun of the tuck rule. This guy is a totally different player. He's loosened up. He's turned into Gronk with more intelligent Gronk, of course. So I think that this was all just when he got Tampa, he just saw that there was a great opportunity for him to make some good bank, and he wants to work 17 weeks a year. One day, maybe put in a couple of days work of research, but most of us can be prepared for it. You already
Well,
know
he's
the team.
played with the whole league. I don't think he has enough to do research.
Yeah,
Like,
I mean
that-
stat wise, I mean just
talking
looking
about
that
Drew
stuff up.
Brees saying he played with those guys. Tom Brady literally has played against every single person in the NFL
Mhm.
ever.
Have you guys ever seen the show Succession?
No.
Okay. So basically,
Chance I have.
like Cole's Notes, it's a media conglomerate that I'm not saying they emulate Fox, but something like that. The dad owns it. The kids are trying to come up and be the successor, right? So there was somebody on there that compared this exact signing to what the Tom Brady situation is. And there's a character named Roman. It's actually played by Macaulay Culkin's brother, if you can picture that guy. He's kind of like the eccentric, party guy. Everyone's trying to come up with these smart ways to fix the company and who's going to take over. And they're like, he just walks in, slams it on the table, says, "We just got Tom Brady for $375 million. It's mine." So they were comparing that to what the Murdoch kids, one of the Murdoch kids did this. That's not a fact. I just think it was funny, and I thought it was a funny analogy. It'd obviously be better if you guys watched the show too, but look,
It's also one more one-up that we talked about it earlier. One more one-up he's going to have on Drew Brees. I mean, no doubt. I have no doubt that Tom Brady is going to be a better analyst and a better play-by-play or speaker of the sport than what Drew Brees provided to us over the last year.
Well,
You know
Tom
what
One
Brady
more
had
thing that he can just one-up with that one.
1992, right? That's the difference. Him going to
would've-
Tampa showed the world who Tom Brady really is. They said, Gillies, we've talked about this a shit ton the last 2 years. And you would never have seen this guy in New England. I do believe I don't think he would have got offered any jobs if he would have ended his career there. I think he
kinda
left
think-
New England for that reason.
I think that the better spot for Brady to land would have been on the couch beside Peyton Manning for every primetime game. If they could find a way to pair up all the networks, and if you don't want to listen to the commentator, that's fine. You can just listen to Tom Brady and Peyton Manning talk about football while you're watching the game. I think that would be cool. Sorry, Eli, you're not moving the
You don't like the
needle
Manning
way
brothers
that-
jest? No.
You know what? I watched it a couple times. My biggest complaint on it is you can't hear the crowd noise, and when you can't hear the crowd noise, it kind of takes some of the juice out of the game. I think that's my opinion, especially on a game that you want to get amped up for, or you have absolutely no stake in and you need something to get you fired up, like I think you need to hear the crowd noise.
That's what our good friends at Cool Bet are for.
I
That
was
always
going to say,
gets me
don't you
up.
always have stake in the game, Shane?
Oh, well, hey, a couple shekels here and there is one thing, but I want to hear which fan is yelling at who and how electric the stadium is. That's what I need to hear. I could absolutely bet on anything, and we've been doing okay with the wagon ride. I was way too hungover to do any of it this weekend, so I know that we hit it on Friday. I know that we hit it on Thursday. For some reason, we got no hockey, no basketball tonight, so we got a little break from the playoffs, but we will get back on that train tomorrow.
Well, listen, you taking a day off might have been good because there was a good chance you were probably going to take the Suns. That was an absolute embarrassment yesterday too. So that wagon might have fallen apart
I don't think they
like theirs did.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no.
I don't think so.
I saw at halftime because obviously I stayed up and watched the overtime last night, and I saw at halftime that the Suns had 29 points, and I was like, wow, that okay,
60 plus win team, bro. Like, that's what happens.
Chris Paul in the playoffs again, right? That's how we roll.
Oh, point God. I'm so upset with it. I just think it's in writing. The guy can never win a championship, unfortunately. Somewhere.
Well, speaking of teams that can never win championships, did you guys know that the Detroit Lions are the only team to not get a primetime game?
Yeah, I saw that.
You know, I hate that. I understand.
I love it.
I did make the counter argument to a friend when they brought that up in our group chat, and I said, "Well, do you count the Jaguars 9 o'clock games as primetime games in London?" The answer is no. But then I also think of nobody's waking up at 8:30 in the morning to watch a 9 o'clock Jaguars game. But at noon, you're already over at your aunt's. We are, but I mean, you know what I mean? Like the ratings pushers. But on Thanksgiving, they're already over at their aunts or their uncles or their cousins, and they're already getting ready to have their first lunch of the day when there's going to be 2 or 3 throughout the afternoon. So I know what you're saying, but I it's the same shit every year, right? Like that game, like to me, it's just because insurance enforced their shit.
Sorry, did you
We
just say
tuned
that
in.
Detroit didn't get the Thanksgiving game? Is that what I just understood?
No,
I haven't looked at
they
the
did.
schedule.
They
Oh,
did.
okay.
It's just
They
not
did.
considered a primetime game.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
sorry.
because
I thought you were
it's
saying, like, they
noon. And
lost
it's not
that
like
game.
no, yeah, no. They have, isn't that like in speaking of being in stone? Isn't that like in an agreement somewhere with the NFL that because of the agreement they have to have a
Cowboys and
primetime game
Lions,
for
yeah.
that Thursday? I thought they have to have it on Thanksgiving. It's something that some agreement they had. Could be wrong.
Yeah, it's Cowboys and Lions, like Chad said. But yeah, like I don't know if you count that as a primetime game. I mean, when you're the only show in town on Thanksgiving, what do? You probably find the college basketball preseason tournament and watch that instead.
Well, okay. So what if that game was? I know it's Thanksgiving, so we're only a few weeks into it. But what if we had 2 7-0 or 2 6-1 teams or something like that were facing off? Does that become more of a prime time just because of the win losses? Right. That's where I feel like you can't push the needle based on like who's on the field. Right. We went to those games, Shane. It was prime time for us. Don't deny it.
Yeah, I will tell you why it will never be considered a primetime game. And it's because the league limits how many you can have, and they don't want to count the Cowboys against it. So for that reason, it won't be called a primetime game because they want the Cowboys on Sundays and Mondays as much as possible. And that 4 o'clock Cowboys game, not a primetime game. If it did, ESPN or Fox or whoever is going to be missing out on their game. So for that reason, I will say that it'll never be counted that way. I do think it's a little bit disrespectful that they couldn't at least get like something.
Thursday night game.
You know, like they played Green Bay twice. Like, how did they not link up a Sunday game? Yeah.
Well, I mentioned it in the chat, guys. They're going to be. I think they're going to push some, move some heads in or turn some heads into this year, and they're going to be a better team. So maybe next year they will get some primetime games. They'll make up for it and get maybe 3 or 4 because this year they're going to surprise everybody. My Giants this year, guys.
I was talking to a buddy about it, and he's a diehard Lions fan. He thinks they can win 6 games, and like he rated them all, and he said the 6 games they'd win. And my thought was, if they do win those 6, can they steal 2? That's 8 wins all of a sudden. They lost a lot of games last year by a touchdown or less. Like they're actually one of the best teams against the spread in all of the NFL.
Yeah, and,
like,
and I
can
would
they steal
say
a game or 2 on top of the games they should win?
I would say to the guy you were talking to, do you want them to start winning yet, or would
He doesn't.
I guess
know.
are you committed to Jared Goff is the question, and if you're committed to him, obviously you want to start winning. If you're not committed, you probably want to draft in the top 10 again to get, I mean, they're already saying this coming draft class is better than the last, but let's keep in mind that last year at this time Spencer Rattler was the first overall pick. So let's caution what we're doing here. Is Bryce Young and CJ Stroud going to be top 5 picks? It sure seems like it, but you have to play the games and you have to prove that you can still do it. I'm sure that Ohio State and Alabama both have restockpiled their receiving cores. Because if not, those guys are going to have to really do something. Because look at the first 2 rounds. Of the 13 receivers picked, I think 6 of them went to Alabama and Ohio State.
Yeah, those guys are factories. They're just gonna have the next guy up. So
yeah.
And one of those guys
so.
went to Detroit, and that's where I think the move will come. I think Jared Goff is going to have to be asked to do too much, man, when you just throw it up and a kid like that can just get it anywhere.
Williams will probably make his debut on Thanksgiving. I mean, he's not ready to play. So depends on how deep into the season you want to get. Depends how much you want to, if he's 85%, you're not in any rush to get him back on the field. And yeah, I don't know. That's the fun part about this time of the year. Everybody feels like their team has at least a chance or some kind of possibility. Is 6 wins for the Lions out of the realm of possibilities? Probably not, but I mean, if history tells us anything, it definitely is. We'll see.
they always find
They got to put the AFC South. They could steal a couple of wins there.
Look, yeah, they'll grab one against the Titans and they'll take down the Texans and they'll take down the Jags. I mean, yikes, that sounds aggressive.
Yeah. Everybody didn't hear what Kalen did to us. Yep, it hurt.
Yeah. Something that I had to skip over at the beginning because we were running out of time. Jaire Alexander has now become the highest paid corner in the league. 4 years, $84 million. I couldn't find the guaranteed money anywhere, so I don't actually know what it is, but I know that he's getting a $30 million bonus this year and a $1 million base salary.
He's getting $31 million in bonuses.
Yeah, but I don't know what the guaranteed looks like.
It's crazy how teams are able to do that.
Well, yeah, to me, do you think that means they're like, oh fuck, we fucked up on Dante's, we can't lose this guy too? Because that's what it screams to me.
Good. I mean, I think that they're just more eager to keep the defense intact because that's what's going to be more of the long-term solution. It seems like Jordan Love is nobody anymore in that organization. Wouldn't be surprised if he gets cut or moved for like a mid-round pick, like a 4th or 5th round pick. But if they're going to keep Aaron Rodgers around for the next, seems like 4 years, you're probably going to want the defense to at least be halfway decent, considering Aaron Rodgers has nobody to throw the football to.
Yeah.
Or nobody proven, I should say. I mean, I was reading something about Amari Rodgers not making it through training camp. And if that guy can't crack the roster, I'm a little bit concerned. I don't know.
So with that Jaire contract, he's getting paid $42.5 by next March.
Wow.
A couple Skittles.
So, yeah. $30 million up front on the signing bonus. I don't think after Odell's experience, I don't think many players are going to do the Bitcoin route for a bit.
Yeah, what is that, about $9.5 million for every game he played last year? Because he only played 4 of them, right?
Who's this, Odell?
No. Alexander.
Oh, Jaire? Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, sorry. 30 million signing bonus, 42.5 by March, and 31, I think, or 32 in 2022. 31 in 2022. Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, it's officially now probably tied for the worst contract in league history with Denzel Ward. So
is he number 2? I think he's number 2 and highest paid too, right? I think it goes him, then Ward, and then Jalen's number 3.
Yeah, exactly.
Jalen's 3, yeah.
So the way that the contracts go and the way that you structure them, you obviously want to continue to build. And if you're the next guy up, it means you're going to be the next highest paid guy until the next guy gets signed. That's just the nature of the beast, the way things go. the Dolphins decided to add another pass rusher. Melvin Ingram made minimal impact in Pittsburgh, minimal impact in Kansas City. Not sure. Are you? Oh, he made a big impact. Is that what you're saying?
He
I
gave
would
them
say
the
he had minimal
opportunity to
impact
let
in
Chris
Kansas
Jones
City.
run.
Okay.
Yeah, he really opened up the D line. I would say he didn't get home a lot, but I definitely that team was far different before he got there. Remember, we made fun of Daniel Sorensen every single day. It was
Still will.
pretty. It still will, absolutely. I will be the first to admit, though, that the correlation of when Melvin Ingram got there was that the DBs didn't have to work as hard and Daniel Sorensen didn't have to work as hard, and his name started, not showing up on our show anymore. So I do think that he's got some. We've talked about the Dolphins' defense and how athletic they were in the past. The linebacking core there was great, but is that a result of what the coach that was there before? I mean, he was a linebackers coach. Can they continue that? I do think that Ingram brings enough, but he's also playing in the type of heat that he's never had to play in before. Right? Like
Well,
that's a different type of beast down there. That first 5 years or 5 weeks or 6 weeks of the season, if you're playing I don't even know what their schedule is, but they've got 3 or 4 home games during that stretch. That's a brutal go ahead as a vet.
He's only going to play third and long. We already know this. He's not going to play nothing else. And he's just going to move around. Like, he's no longer a pass rusher. He's just taking up space.
Right.
He's just holding blockers to let guys run. So his workload should be able to slowly increase. But yeah, I don't see him playing anything outside of straight pass tens. Like, he'll be getting 30, 35 plays a game tops.
Right. And maybe that's just who he is now. As far as the schedule came out like Thursday, whatever. We didn't really talk a lot about it. If you had to pick one game on the schedule, and we'll finish off with this, what would it be?
Does this mean not including our own teams?
You can pick your own team if you want.
I go with week 17, the Battle of LA.
Okay.
I think it's gonna be fun to watch. Because I also think that could be a team. Maybe again we might see in the Super Bowl as well. It's not the last week of the season, so starters should be playing still.
Yep.
And that Chargers team has a lot of, I guess, hope. We'll say they haven't done really do a lot in the last couple of years. They went out and they spent some money. The Rams went. It's like they almost went and took the Rams approach to it. We're just going to spend money left. We're going to buy our team. They have the quarterback there. They have the weapons there. And then the Rams are looking to repeat and to be the best team in California. So I think that's a pretty what the Super Bowl could be. I'm not saying it will be that. But, like, as a fan for me, like, Tampa's got a really tough schedule. There's some really big games early on. But all of our games are early. Like, we go Chiefs and Packers back to back.
Well, I'm glad that you brought that up because, and Kaylin, I'll let you go last because Chad just segued perfectly for me. Because the Chiefs and the Bucks are playing Week 4 Sunday Night Football, and that was actually selected for the boys' trip that I got. So I'm going to be at that game, and that's going to be a pretty wild scene, boys. So the way it's looking is we might start in Cincinnati for Thursday Night Football, I think against the Raiders, and then fly down to Tampa for the game. And that's most likely the last time that Mahomes plays Brady, right? Unless Brady has 4 more years in him.
Unless they go to the Super Bowl against each other. I think this is Brady's last. He's walking to the sunset after this one.
Yeah, well, I think he's walking into a big bag of money. Kalen?
Yep. Oh, what were you asking? You want me to go talk about my schedule now or the favorite
games?
Your
favorite games.
So my favorite game that I want to watch that I had it circled on as soon as I found out when we were playing it because I knew we were playing this year after the trade. It's going to be week 13. We're playing the Eagles in Philadelphia. It's the end of the gauntlet stretch of our schedule that we have. Chad, you said you play Broncos and then Packers?
No, we go Packers.
Chiefs, Packers, Chiefs. Yeah, we have a crazy gauntlet too. We got to play like the Chiefs, the Broncos, the Packers. We got Bengals, then we got to finish out here against the Eagles. So that 5-week stretch is going to be absolute hell. But that's going to be the end of it. It's going to be colder out, so the wide receivers may not be able to run as good. Can we stop our boy AJ? Obviously, I want to see this game, guys, right? Where are they going to be at? Where is he going to be at? Are we talking about another Pro Bowl level caliber season by week 13? I think they're going to have rookie AJ. So I think yes, but I hope to stop it.
Can I ask you a question? Two-part question.
Yeah.
Number one,
Yeah.
what happens if he roasts you? And number two, did you
Mhm.
see Trayvon Burks lasted 20 minutes of practice today?
Well, that was on Friday, and on Saturday he took the full practice and he did extra reps too to make up for it. So I don't mind that. That's get your wins in you, get your sprints in you. You've seen some pretty good players in your teams probably stand on the sidelines a little bit winded, right?
Yeah, it was me. I'm fat.
Stop.
Coach
And what if
just went
AJ
out
roasts
here.
us? What if AJ roasts us? As long as it's in a loss, I'm okay with it. No, even if it's in a win, I'll have something to talk about on Monday and be able to say, I told you guys he's a number one. That's all it is. He got paid like one, and he's proven it still.
Yeah,
Well,
everybody's
yeah.
number one in Philly. Look how they drafted.
Look, the best part about this, it's May 16th. We have months of shit talking to do. We will not be on next week because of the holiday. But all the boys are going to assemble down at Labatt Park for the afternoon majors game. Probably bring the ladies and enjoy ourselves. Have a couple pints. So
The oldest ball diamond in the world. I know I've mentioned that before, but I got to bring it up every time. We're going to talk about it. It's the oldest one in the world.
hey, I think that we're going to be live streaming, and I am going to make a prediction that either Derrick Henry or Ryan Tannehill get cut on that day.
Oh my God. What is
It just
wrong
seems
with
like every
you?
time we get together, something cool happens. So I don't know. Maybe that's like maybe that's
You're an
going too
animal.
far. But I don't know, man. Just hey, these things happen. But let's sign off for now. Make sure that you're checking out the Instagram. Subscribe to the YouTube. Always, we're out here on Facebook. We got the Twitch going. We'll get the morning brew and hot cakes and pancakes back up and running. And watch out for the boys out at